this is going to be really, it's an hour and a half, and it's supposed to be really interesting. We're going to see where the old sugar beet plant was.
Yeah.
The 11th annual Oxnard Autumn Historic Home and Downtown Tour made its own history September 23rd. The tour marked the first time in more than 50 years, perhaps ever, that the public was able to tour the sugar beet factory that started the city of Oxnard.
Well, it's been used commercially since the factory was torn down in 58, 59. But as far as coming, for the public to come in a guided manner to see the building and appreciate it, it's the first time we're aware of it.
The visit to the sugar beet factory was part of a trolley tour that was added onto this year's tour of 5 homes in Oxnard's historic district.
Well, we've got sort of two components, a residential side, which is sort of our bread and butter of our event, and then the commercial side. The trolley tour is the commercial side, where we highlighted the Woolworth building in downtown Oxnard, which was just recently restored. Also, the Bank of A. Levy, though we didn't go inside, we talked about it on the outside. And a building that's just recently been restored, the old Peyton Mortuary, which was built in 1926.
Visitors were shuttled to all of the downtown destinations, including the sugar beet factory warehouse, which was built by the 4 businessman brothers for whom the city is named: Harry, Benjamin, James, and Robert Oxnard.
When the Oxnard brothers built this factory and warehouse in 1898, it was 75,000 square feet and 9 stories high, with 2 very tall smokestacks. Today, this part of the building, which is built in 1910, is about 24,000 square feet. The one next door, which dates back to 1898, is about 18 or 19,000 square feet.
The factory operated until 1958, often producing 400 pounds of sugar an hour. The railroad tracks that shipped the sugar all over the nation lead nowhere now. Some of the other historic buildings that seeded the town are the Woolworth building, which is now a haven of 1950s and 60s kitsch, as well as a cafe. Down a few streets is the Peyton Mortuary, which was built in 1926 and still contains the original oak flooring and many of the original fixtures, such as this sink and metal soap dispenser, and this fountain at the landing at the top of the 2nd floor.
And it's a great Spanish colonial revival design. It was designed by Alfred Priest, who's a well-known local Glendale-based architect who actually did quite a bit of work here in Ventura County. So it's recently undergone a major restoration and renovation, and it's now utilized, or will be utilized, as executive offices. It's available for purchase or lease.
After touring the commercial buildings, visitors took a self-guided tour to 5 private homes around F and G streets in Oxnard.
We've got a total of 5 great old historic homes, most of which are all brand new, never been on the tour before, and that's our bread and butter. That's what people really come for, is to see the great things that people have done with these old houses on F and G Street. This
Tudor Revival home and the home right next door to it, a Spanish Revival-style home, were inhabited by a German immigrant named Ludwig Louis Brené, a pioneer businessman in Oxnard. Brené was among those who helped construct the Oxnard Brothers' American Beet Sugar Factory. Louis lived in this Tudor Revival home with his wife Sophie beginning in 1937. The walls, wood floors, and ceilings are all original.
And he actually came to work for the sugar beet factory and then opened up a blacksmith shop and then later built a home and then built this Tudor Revival home. So it's interesting to see the evolution of this one businessman. In fact,
the Brenets leveled the original garden of the Spanish colonial home to build the Tudor home. The current owner of the house has turned it into a study of pink and white with many Laura Ashley-style flourishes. Early Oxnard real estate broker Walter Herb Lathrop lived here beginning in 1916 with his wife Edna. With the exception of the kitchen, which according to the current owners was in need of upgrading, most of the original features of the house are intact.
The back area over here where the garage is, that was the servants' quarters. So we actually kept, this is Oxnard we're talking about.
I love history. Before this we lived in 1911, so I went a little more Victorian, but this is a little later on in the decade, so for this I went a little more craftsman with the plainer lines.
This is one of the 2 final homes on the tour, both of which were constructed and owned by Oxnard builder Adolf Schroeder. Adolf and his wife Clara moved into this circa 1916 craftsman bungalow-style home in 1917.
The craftsman-style house is one of those architectural styles that developed that responded to Americans' more informal lifestyle.
We've skipped 1 year since the beginning. We've done it every year.
Sure. What keeps you coming back?
Oh, it's just fun, and we see everybody we know, and know most of the people that own the houses. It's fun.